everyone, I'm Amanda with Sweet Pieces, and today I am going to teach you how to use wax on your furniture. So we are using Jolie Finishing Wax. This is a pretty new product to the market. We've been using it for about a year. It is amazing, okay? It is amazing. If you have used any other wax before, I can assure you this is totally different from anything that you've used. It is so much easier. It doesn't have an odor. It is more durable. It is better in every way. I mean, it's just fantastic. So this shutter here has been painted in the Jolie matte finish paint. We did noir, and what white is this? This is Palace white. So if you're looking for the white, it's Palace white, which is also available on our website. So we have 4 different waxes here that we're going to be showing you today. You always want to make sure that you do clear wax. So clear wax always comes first. So here's what it looks like, okay? It is, what's the consistency? It's like the consistency of shortening. That's what I tell people. So, and by the way, this particular wax is non-hazardous and no odor. So you can feel really, really safe with it, even if, you're sensitive to smells. It's totally, totally fine. So what you're going to do is you're going to put some on your wax brush, and I like to put it on and then rub it off on the sides. So I don't have a whole ton on there, but you can see that there's definitely wax on there. And then basically I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to brush it on. Now when you're putting wax on, I always tell people you want to think of this like you're applying hand cream, okay? So when you apply hand cream, you rub it in all different directions and you let it absorb into your skin. This is not like applying nail polish where you're brushing on a coat and then holding your nails out. You are really rubbing this into the surface. And this, maybe, can you see this on camera? How if I brush this on, you can see kind of where you've missed it. So it's kind of hard to see it on camera, but when you first brush this on, you can kind of see there's some spots here that the actual wax hasn't gotten into yet. So you kind of have to look at it in different lights and make sure that your wax has really, really gotten into all those grooves and crevices. Okay, so basically you're taking your wax, you're brushing it on, you're going in all different directions, you're letting it absorb into the surface. And again, we have used some different waxes in the past here at Sweet Pieces. This is a different wax and it has different application. So normally I would tell you with other waxes that you want to work in a really small section, put it on and buff it off right away. This wax is different, so you don't have to do that. You can actually brush this on your entire piece, get it all spread out, and I got a couple hairs in there and that's okay. Just kind of pick them off. So brush your wax on. You can put it on your whole entire piece, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on the white here. And then you'll buff it off with your rag. So this is a lot easier to use. It's a lot faster of a process. It's a really, really beautiful thing. Now, why do I use a brush? Do I have to use a brush to wax? You don't have to, but I always prefer a brush over a rag because I find that the brush spreads it nicer. The bristles help to really move the wax around. It also is less waste because it's not absorbing into the rag. It's all being deposited onto the piece. And the last reason is because of all these grooves and crevices, all of this texture that you have in here, it would be really hard to get it all in there with a rag. So now I feel like I have applied enough. I feel like I see my entire piece looks like it has wax on it. And the longer that you let this sit, the shinier your finish is going to be. So if you do want a little bit of a shinier finish, you can let this sit for a little while. Basically, I'm just going to take a rag. So we carry 2 different types of rags here. We carry either shop towels or a waxing rag. Either one are really fantastic for waxing. The shop towels you can basically just throw away, and the waxing rags you can wash and reuse them. So basically, once you're done putting your wax on, you're going to take your rag. I'll actually use my shop towel. I like to use the shop towels if I'm doing a dark color because sometimes a little bit of the white does get deposited on there. And I'm just rubbing this off. I don't know if you can see this on camera, but this is just getting like a little bit shinier. It's also not sticky. And you can see like I'm really not rubbing hard. I'm just going very, very lightly, and you can see a little bit of my wax on the rag there. A little bit of the color might come off. That's totally normal. You don't have to worry about it. And then I'll do the same thing with my white. And this is very textured, so you will get some of your rag kind of coming off on that. But it'll come right off. So if I just take this and rub that off, that'll come right off. So now this surface should not feel sticky or tacky. If it feels sticky or tacky, then you need to buff off a little bit more. This feels nice and smooth. So now what I'll do is I'll show you a little bit of the wax, of the colored wax. So this is the black wax, and I'll also show you the brown wax. Brown wax. And then we also have white wax. Now, your colored waxes are going to show up where there's a high contrast. So if I put my dark waxes onto my black, that's not a high contrast, so I'm not really going to see that. If I put my white wax onto my white, not a high contrast, so I'm not going to see it. If I put my white wax onto my black, that's a high contrast. Brown wax onto the white, high contrast, so that's where you're really going to see it. So I'm going to use a separate brush for this. Let me talk to you for a minute about brushes. We have 3 different wax brushes that we carry here at Sweet Pieces, all available on our website. If you don't live close enough to come and visit us, we have the large Jolie wax brush. We have the small pointed wax brush, and then we also have the waxine wax brush. So all 3 of these brushes are amazing, fantastic. We highly recommend them. I love the fact that this Jolie brush has a nice pointed tip on it because it's great for getting into grooves and crevices. I also love the handle on the waxine brush. I love the handle on all of them because they are very, very comfortable. So again, do you have to use a wax brush? You don't have to, but it does make the job a lot easier. So I'm going to show you some black wax. So I'm just going to dip into my black. You really don't need a lot. You saw how much I used of the clear. You really don't need that much. So I'm just putting a tiny bit of black on there, and I'm just rubbing it off on the edges. And this, I'm lightly rubbing this onto the surface, okay? I'm not jabbing my brush in here. I'm just lightly rubbing it on. And you can see that this wax is just catching on all of the texture in here. Now we have used, like I said, some other waxes in the past. This wax is amazing. It far surpasses anything that we've ever used before. If you have ever used any other wax and you've not had success with it and you're watching this video right now, you're going, oh my God, that's the look I wanted. It's supposed to be nice and just simply distressed, and mine looks like a blotchy mess. I'm telling you, it makes a difference with the product that you're using. I wasn't really a fan of these colored waxes before I started using this product, but this product makes it so much easier. So now here's the other important thing that I want to just reiterate. You have to use clear first. So I've used clear first, and now I used the black, and it looks gorgeous. So now I'm just going to take my rag, and I'm just going to rub a little bit just to buff off the excess. And how pretty does that look? It looks just a little bit distressed, a little farmhouse. Easy peasy. And it feels nice. And here's the other fun tip. If you feel like, oh my gosh, there's too much wax on here, too much darkness, You can use your clear wax, so you can go back in with a little bit of clear wax and just rub over this, and you can see there, like I just rubbed it on this slat right here, how that can come a little bit cleaner. So you can really control this with just a little bit of clear wax. So that clear wax can act as an eraser as well. So I kind of like the way that looks, so I'm just going to do one tiny little dip, and just go back over this really lightly to just add that back in. I'll give it a minute to dry, a quick second here, and then we'll just go back over this. And again, I'm not rubbing hard. If you're getting tennis elbow or you're sweating, you're working too hard, girl. So don't get crazy with yourself. Okay, so now I feel pretty good about this. I'm touching it, it's nice and smooth. So at this point I would be done. However, I want to show you white wax. So here's my white wax. I'm going to use my waxine. I'm going to dip in, I'm going to rub it off on the edge, because I really don't need that much. Okay, so I have just a little bit on there. It's like a nice little coating. And now I'm just going to go ahead and put this on my white, or on my black rather. So you can see it's kind of catching in all those grooves and crevices. It kind of gives you that like old chalkboard look, where your chalkboard is just a little bit dusty. And this white wax works really nicely on, the darker type of colors, the dark blues, the rich blues, and then any of the colors. It's also a really pretty contrast to, some of the mid-tone grays like linen, legacy. It's gorgeous on legacy. So just ever so lightly, it's catching in all those grooves and crevices. I'll give it a minute, and then I'll go back and buff it off. So let me talk to you about maintenance of your wax and how to upkeep this, because that's the question that we get most often, and people are very nervous about it. Wax is very, very durable. However, it is a natural substance. So the more harsh cleaners that you use on it, bleaches and alcohols, it is going to dissolve that wax. So what do? Well, you can just re-wax. So I keep a can of wax at my entryway and my little console table that has all my other paint supplies in it. And if I ever feel like something is getting, yucky or dull, I just take out the wax just like I would a cleaner, put a little on a rag, and just give it another quick buff. Especially now with this new wax, it's super, super easy to do that, so it really won't be an issue. Let's say that you get a scuff mark or a scratch in your wax, and you're like, what do I do? So wax basically reactivates itself. So if you put more wax on top of wax that's already on there, it's basically going to reactivate it and pull off anything that shouldn't be there, like gunk or grime. So just like I put my black wax on top of here to reactivate the clear wax and remove some of that, that would be the same way that you could use the wax as a cleaner. So I always tell people that should be like your first step. Don't think that you need to repaint it. Just try to use your wax on top of it, and that might just remove any gunk or grime that might be on there. So wax, like I said, is very durable. You don't have to be afraid about like re-waxing. People are like, how often do I have to re-wax? I mean, really, you shouldn't have to re-wax if it's something that isn't a highly used surface. So if it's your china cabinet, that just is, it's kind of there. You're not touching and moving things. Highly used surfaces, what I would consider to be highly used would be a dining table, a child's changing table, which I painted and waxed, and it is holding up really beautifully. Even that I would, so I think things like a dining table or your kitchen cabinets, I would say the dining table would be the biggest thing that I would have concerns about. Kitchen cabinets, again, you're not putting hot plates on top of your kitchen cabinets. It is something that we touch and we grab, but again, if you just use your wax and you just rub around those areas, it will hold up really nicely. We've been doing this for 8 years, and we have had so many customers that have painted their kitchen cabinets, and they're very, very happy with the results. So I would feel very confident telling you to do that. I would also say this, my kitchen cabinets were, factory cabinets, and around the handle, like of the garbage can and the cabinets that we go in the most, the paint has all worn away. Now, had I painted it with this paint, I could just easily touch it up, throw a little wax on there and be done, but now I have chipping cabinets. So, at some point in time, I'm going to redo them, but they're just not ready yet. So anyway, feel confident about waxing. It shouldn't be backbreaking. It should be very, very easy. And as long as you are using it properly, like the way I showed you in the video, it will be a really, really durable surface. And like I said, so I don't think I came back and buffed this yet. So let me just show you that really quick. So I'm just taking my rag. I went over the white, and I'm just buffing this just ever so lightly. And can you see that shine there? So once you buff your wax, it should be shiny, a little shiny. Like, it's not going to be like lacquer high gloss. And it shouldn't feel sticky. It should be, nice and smooth. So again, waxing should be simple. You want to apply it like you're applying hand cream. Rub it all in, get it into all the grooves and crevices, and then just go back and lightly buff it. All right, guys. Now if you need product, you know where to go, sweetpieces.com. We've got you covered. We ship the same day. You'll have your products in just a couple of days, depending on where you are in the country. And we're here. If you have questions, give us a phone call. If you're using our products and you don't know how to use them, we're here to answer all your questions. I'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching. Want to learn more? Subscribe now.